Hello, Father James Kubicki here on the 10th anniversary of the terrorist attacks on our nation. I remember at the time how people flocked to churches and prayed, and yet I wonder today if life hasn't somehow just returned to pretty much the way things were before those attacks. Oh, sure, there are inconveniences in airports for those of us who fly these days, but have we in general become complacent in our relationship with God? A few days after those attacks, Archbishop Jose Gomez of Los Angeles, who at the time was an auxiliary bishop in Denver, said the following: "A friend of mine asked me, how can we keep our faith when a tragedy like this occurs and God seems so silent? I answered him, what do we expect God to do? Be available when we need him and then go away when we don't? Because that's the way many of us act. We ignore him, or we pay him lip service, and then we expect him to show up like a paramedic when we dial 911. That's not loving God. That's just using him. Of course, Scripture tells us that God's ways are not our ways. He loves us better than we love ourselves, and so he does answer us every time we call him. In fact, God never leaves us. He's never silent. He's never absent. But if we fill our lives with noise, we can't hear him speak. If we crowd our hearts with confusion and distractions, we forget how to listen. How do we keep our faith in the face of tragedy? I think that's the wrong question. Faith untested is faith that's not real. Tragedy and suffering are where we find our faith. Suffering is what God uses to wake us up to our purpose in the world.